Here we are live, gathered here on this Sunday morning. It is precisely 7:52 in the AM, Los Angeles. I have a video going live or viral. I have a video that is live that is currently going viral. In the last 24 hours, I've got 1.4 million views. Thank you very much. And so it's business as usual. It has to be. It doesn't really change much, but it's a win for the home team. So I wish you all a very lovely Sunday or whatever day of the week you're enjoying listening to my voice read House of Leaves by Mark Z.Danielewski. He's got a cool Instagram, by the way. Speaking of which, I had my Instagram taken away. Ebbs and flows, wins and loses. But yes, I lost my main Instagram account on Friday night or Saturday morning. I woke up and it was gone. So now I'm on my backup account. But, going viral, 1.4 million views. Probably get 1.5 by the end of the day. So that was the record, was to get 1.5 million views in a week. That's been beaten by doing that in a day. So thank you, God Almighty above. Here we are now. Chapter 6, page 74. Animals lack the symbolic identity and the self-consciousness that goes with it. They merely act and move reflexively as they are driven by their instincts. If they pause at all, it is only a physical pause. Inside they are anonymous, and even their faces have no name. They live in a world without time, pulsating, as it were, in the state of dumb being. The knowledge of death is reflective and conceptual, and animals are spared it. They live and they disappear with the same thoughtlessness. A few minutes of fear, a few seconds of anguish, and is over. But to live a whole lifetime with the fate of death haunting one's dreams, and even the most sun-filled days, that's something else. Excuse me. We're 2 coffees in. We need to just slow. This is why we love reading. Okay, I got. It doesn't matter what I got, but we got it. Calming. This is a great calming mechanism. Reading. It's very, very therapeutic for our souls. So thank you for listening. While the pragmatic space of animals is a function of inborn instincts, man has to learn what orientation he needs in order to act. Christian Noberg. Okay. We're warming up. Let's rest just fix the posture and then rest the mic on the non-concaved chest. Here we are. When Hillary, the gray-coated Siberian Husky, appears at the end of the Davison record, he is no longer a puppy. A couple of years have passed. Something forever watchful has taken up residence in his eyes. He may be playful with those he knows, but whenever strangers wander too close, they invariably hear a growl rising from somewhere deep in his throat, a little like distant thunder, warning them away. Morally, the tabby cat vanishes completely, and no mention is made about what happened to him. His disappearance remains a mystery. One thing, however, is certain. The house played a very small part in both their histories. The incident took place on August 11th, 1990, a week after Wilna Davison's secret exploration of the hallway. Saturday morning cartoons blare from the kitchen television. Chad and Daisy munch down their breakfast, and Karen stands outside smoking a cigarette, talking on the phone with Audrey McCulloch. I'm sorry, be it the Irish in me. I have to MC's Culloch. Yeah, McCulloch. I said it right the first time, but for you, I'm going to spell it. MC, little, it's a M, it's a muck, so it's traditionally Irish. So it's MC and then a big C, Cullogh. But the Oh, that's Irish. It doesn't matter. Just continue. Thank you. Her self building accomplice. The topic of the moment is feng shui and all it has failed to do. No matter how many ceramic turtles or wooden ducks, goldfish, Kaleidostalestical dragons, Celestial dragons, or bronze lions I put in the goddamn house, she rants. It still keeps throwing off this awful energy. I need to find a psychic or an exorcist or a really good real estate agent. Meanwhile, in the living room, Tom helps Ned Davison take some still shots of the hallway using a strobe. Suddenly, somewhere in the house, there is a loud yowl and bark. An instant later, Mallory comes screaming into the living room with Hillary nipping at his tail. It is not the first time they've involved themselves in such a routine. The only exception is that on this occasion, after dashing up and over the sofa, both puppy and cat head straight down the hallway and disappear into the darkness. Ned Davison probably would have gone in after them had he not instantly heard barks outside, followed by Karen's shouts accusing him of letting the animals out, when on that day they were supposed to stay in. What the hell? We hear Ned Davison mutter loudly. Sure enough, Hillary and Mallory are in the backyard. Who names their... Anyway, Mallory up a tree. Hillary howling grandly over his achievement. For something so startling, it seems surprising how little has been made of this event. Bernard Porsche, in his 4,000-page Treatise. Is that how you spell thesis? No, that's not how you spell thesis. I know. I can picture thesis. On the Ned Davison record, devotes only a third of a sentence to the subject. Strange how the house won't support the presence of animals. Mary Widmut leaves us with just one trace question. So, what's the deal with the pets? Even Ned Davison himself, the consummate investigator, never revisits the subject. Who knows what might have been discovered if he had. Regardless, Holloway soon arrives, and any understanding that might have been gained by further analyzing the strange relationship between animals and the house is passed over in favor of human exploration. Now we go into a character piece entitled End Notes. Strange how Sam Pony also fails to comment on the inability of animals to wander those corridors. I believe there's a grand deal of significance in this discovery. Unfortunately, Zamboni never returns to the matter, and while I would like to offer you my own interpretation, I am a little high and also a lot drunk. Trying to determine what set me off in the first place on this private little homebound binge. Love the word binge. For one thing, Thumper came into the shop today. Ever since I fell down the stairs, things have changed there. My boss kind of tiptoes around me, playing all low... Oh, I apologize. Playing all low key and far off. His demeanor probably matching his old junky days. Even his friends keep their distance. Everyone, for the most part, just leaves me alone to sketch and solder. Though I'm sketching far less these days, I mean, with all this writing. Anyway, Thumper's actually been by a few times, but my incomprehensible shyness persists, forbidding me to ever summon up more than an occasional intelligible sentence. Recently, though, I did get this crazy idea. I decided to go out on a limb and show her that sappy little bit I wrote about her, with all that coastal Norse and August sun sent pine tree stuff, even the Lucy part. I just put it in an envelope and carried it around with me until she dropped by and then handed it to her without a word. I don't know what I expected, but she opened it and right on the spot and read it and then laughed. And then my boss grabbed it and he sort of winced. Now look, who's the dumb mutant? He shuddered. And that was that. Thumper handed me her flip flops and Adidas sweatpants and stretched out on the chair. I felt like such an idiot. Lude had warned me I'd be certifiable if I showed it to her. Maybe I am. I actually believed it would touch her in some absurd way, but to hear her laugh like I really fucked up, like that really fucked me up. Oh God, that's sorry. Digesting it while reading it, Anyway. Um I should have stayed away from such flights of fancy. Stuck to my. This guy's gonna end up fucking this girl, I assume. Stuck to my regular made-up stories. I did my best to hide in the back, though I was too scared to go too far back because of the storeroom. Then, right before she left, Thumper came over and handed me her card. "Call me sometime," she said with a wink. "You're cute." My life instantly changed. I told Lude. He told me to call her at once. I waited. Then I reconsidered. Then I postponed. Finally, at exactly 22 past 3 in the morning, I dialed. It was a beeper. I punched in my number. She's a stripper, I reasoned. Strippers live late. An hour passed. I started drinking. I'm still drinking. She hasn't called. She isn't going to call. I feel dead. Hillary and Mallory, I suddenly envy them. I wonder if Nadavison did too. I bet Zamboni invived them. I did. I need to get away. Zamboni liked animals. Far away. All those cats he would talk to in that weedy courtyard at dawn, at night. So many shades sleeking out from under that dusty place like years. His years. Could they be like my years too? Though certainly not too many. Not like him. Years and years of them, always rubbing up against my legs. And I see it all so clearly now. Static announcements. That, yes, how shocking. They still are, disconnected but vital. The way memories reveal their life by simply appearing, sprinting out from under the shadows, pause, patter, pause, pausing, then to rub against our legs, zip, zenil, sparks, perhaps, but yes, still there. And I'm thinking, has another missing year resolved in song? Though let me not get too far from myself. They were after all my cats, quadrupled, mice devouring moth, chasing shades, felis, cactus, with very little to remind them of themselves or their past or even their tomorrows, especially when the present burns hot with play, their pursuits and their fear, a bright flash to pursue. Sun, a star on nothing's back, a dark splash to escape. There are always predators. The spray interplay of hidden things and visible wings, flung upon the great black sail of rods and cones, thin and fractionary, a convent of black, arc from the distant, echoing out the dark and others, harmonizing with the crack brick crisp tricks of every broken leaf of grass or displaced stick. And so, thrust by shadow and a vague hope of color into the into a rhapsody of motion, RHAPSOD, of motion and meaning. I'll bet, momentary, pupil pulling wider, wider still, and darker, receiving all of it and even more of it, though still only beholding some of it, until the frenzy of reception, this moat crawling hawk fearing shade losing itself into temporary madness, leaping, spiraling,
flinging itself after all, as if it were possessed, and it is, as if that kind of physical response could approximate the witnessed world, which it can't, though very little matters enough to prevent the try, all of which is to say, in the end, they are all cats, but cats too talk to just the same, before, in their own weaving and wending, they Kilkenny disappeared, just as they first appeared, out of nowhere, vanishing back into nowhere. Tales from the great story we will never see, but one day just might imagine, which is the grey and gentler Eves will prove far more than any of us could ever need. Enough. We will shout enough. Our bellies full, our hearts full, our ages full, fullness and greatness, fullness and even more fullness. How then we will laugh and forget how imagining has already left us, slinking back into the place of urban barley, grass, fennel, and wheat, or just plain hay, golden hay. We're hay, hey, 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 hey days gone, bye, bye, gone way, way, away. And what of dogs, you ask? Well, there are no dogs, except for the Palinsky, but that's another story, one I cannot tell. It's too dark and difficult without whim, and if you didn't notice, I'm in a whimsical, inconsequential frame of mind right now, talking, scribbling, aimlessly and strangely, about cats, enjoying all talking rules in this school of whim, the play of it. Where have I moved? What have I muttered? Who have I met? The frolic and the drift, as I go thinking now, tripping really, over the notion of the 80 or more of Zamboni dusty cats, for no particular relevant reason, which must implicitly mean that no, it cannot be raining cats and dogs, due to the dust, so much of it, so on the ground, about the weeds, in the air, so therefore, here goes thus, no dogs, no Balenci, just a courtyard. Oh no. Oh no. I apologize. Zamboni, a courtyard, on a mad lost noonday, wild with years and pounce and sun. Even if another day would find Zamboni elsewhere, far from the sun, this sun, flung face down on his ill-swept floor without so much as a clue, no trauma, just old. The paramedics would say, though, they could never explain. No one could, what they found near where he lay. 4 of them, 6 or 7 inches long and half an inch deep, splintering the wood, left by some terrible, awful thing, signature in the script of steel or claws. No, not Santa, Zamboni died after Christmas. After all, I'm no myth either, for I saw the impossible marks near the trunk, touched them, even caught some splinters on my fingertips, some of their unexpected sadness and mourning, which though dug out later with the safety pin, I swear still fester beneath my skin, reminding me in a peculiar way of him, just like another splinters I still carry, though these much, much deeper, have never been worked out by the body, but quite the contrary, worked into the body, by now long since buried, calcified and fused to my bones, taking me further from the warm frolic of years, reminding me of much cooler days where I left death, or thought I had. I am tripping, overcast in tones, December grey, recalling names. I have tripped, swept in Ohio, slept in the rain, ruled by a man with a beard, rougher than horse, hide and hands harder and horn, who called me beast because I am his boy, though he wasn't my father. Which is another story I am here to avoid, as I'm certain there are places you too have sought to avoid, just as one Zamboni's early readers also found a story he warned to avoid, though she finally told me it, or at least some of it, how she departed from the old man's apartment that nightfall, having just endured hours of speech and comforts, death and legend, not to speak of mothers and daughters or brides, and bees and fathers and sons and cats and dogs, all of disinteresting to her, all distressing to her, saddening to her, confusing to her, and thus leaving her completely unprepared for the memory she was about to find, abruptly returning from her childhood in Santa Cruz, even as she was trying to reiterate herself in a familiar setting and the comforting routine of a long walk back to her car. It had been raining there, pouring in fact, though not on Franklin, on Whitney, suddenly noticing the unnatural heaviness of a shadow slipping free from the burnt dusk, though not a shadow at all. Later, translating this on the sight of an enormous creature trespassing on the curve of the Northern California night, like the shadow she saw hiding in the bottom turn of Zamboni's stairwell, moving towards her, and so causing her to panic and scramble into the comforts offered by a local bar, or that night scrambled through the gate of Zamboni's building, away from all that gloom, until only many hours and many drinks later could she finally fall asleep, her hangover the following day leaving her gratefully, she said, with only a fleeting memory of something white with ropes of sea smoke and one terrifying flash of blue, which was more, she told me, that she could usually share, even if which she wouldn't share, she knew it still wasn't even half of it. And so, in the shadows of unspoken events, I watched Zamboni's courtyard darken. Everything whimsical has left. I try to study the light going carefully from my room in the glass of my memory, the moonstream of my imagination, the weeds, the windows, every bench. But the old man is not there, and the cats are all gone. Something else has taken their place, something I am unable to see. I'm afraid. It is hungry. It is immoral. Worse, it knows nothing of whim. Oh, wow, that was chapter 6. Well, okay, guys. That was absolutely delightful. What I have got is what I have got, okay, is that I've got a $7,000 guitar amp, orange C120. Oh, baby, look at that thing. Look at that. The neighbors are going to fucking love me. All right, look at that thing. Oh, sweet baby. And then over here, I have myself. This is a 2009 custom Les Paul. Yes, we do. Oh, wait, here we are. I'm over here. Here we are. Up here. Up here, camera. You can zoom out now, mate. You can zoom out. All right. Well, if you're not going to zoom out, at least go up. All right, you're going up. Thank you, camera. Thank you for being obedient. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to me read. I am holding the mic here in my hand. So I wish you a wonderful start to a new week. And it's raining here in Los Angeles. Wherever you are in the world, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you. Till next time. To be continued. Oh, those pretty things. Don't you know you're driving